Hello, it's Aaron again, bringing you another random rambling video. I started this on Sunday, August 17th, 2025 at 8:57 a.m. Along with welcoming you to my channel, allow me to thank you for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe before sharing this video and turning on the post notification bell. It would all be so nice of you. So nice and kind of you. So I'm asking you to do that nicely and kindly. I'm watching more pool on TV. I don't know why I keep doing this to myself. Before my stroke, and I suffered a stroke in '08, for those of you who are new and do not know. As a matter of fact, let me take time to explain everything to you, in case you're wondering about this as well. I have a lot of new subscribers that may not have heard the story yet. So if you're an old subscriber and have heard this story 1,000 times already, please bear with me. Okay. On February 12th of 2008, I suffered what is called a TIA, a trans-ischemic attack, which is a small stroke that landed me in the hospital. I went to the hospital for the TIA, which weakened my left side, so I knew something was going on. The EMT, the ambulance driver, told me that I was having a stroke, so they took me to the hospital, St. John's Hospital in Creve Coeur, Missouri, a suburb of St. Louis. St. John's Mercy, which is now just Mercy St. Louis. They took me to the hospital, and while in the hospital, they ran a bunch of tests on me. This determined it was a TIA, a trans-ischemic attack. But instead of sending me home, and considering I recovered from that 100%, so instead of sending me home, luckily they ran some more tests on me, as they are wont to do in hospitals, just run test after test after test. So they ran another test on me and discovered what they were first calling a mass in my heart, a mass of whatever. They figured it was a large blood clot, or a accumulation of blood clots. So they were calling it a mass at first. They called it a tumor. So there was a tumor, as they were calling it, in my heart. They decided it needed to come out. So they went in to get it, and while they were in there, they discovered that I needed a double bypass surgery. 2 arteries, I guess, needed to be cleaned out. And so they did that. They did a cabbage, a double bypass surgery, while they were in there. And while I was recovering from the surgery, I was in my hospital room recovering, and I had an itch on my left leg that I tried to scratch with my right toe, big toenail. I dug it into my left leg to scratch the itch, and I didn't feel anything. So I told my grandma, who was in the room with me, that I thought I was having another stroke. And so she went out in the hallway and found somebody to come in and check me out. And he decided that I needed to be taken to get a CAT scan and MRI right away. So he took me out to get a CAT scan and MRI. This CAT scan and the MRI showed that a blood clot had gone to my brain and caused an extreme amount of pressure inside my skull, and that I was about to suffer a cerebral herniation, which means one side of my brain was about to pop through the other side of my brain, which would have killed me instantly. So they did an emergency craniotomy. That's when they cut me. That's what all these scars are. They cut me down the middle here and then down around the side, as you can see, and they took my skull off for a few weeks. That relieved the pressure inside my skull, prevented the cerebral herniation, and thusly saved my life. So like I said, They took my skull off for a few weeks and sent me to MRC, Missouri Rehab Center in Mount Vernon, Missouri. And when I got back to, then they sent me back to St. Louis a few weeks later to get my skull put back on, which is called a cranioplasty, the emergency craniotomy, and then the cranioplasty. They put it back on, and that's what caused this bump here and this bump back there. Those are skull protrusions from when they put my skull back on. I guess it didn't line up properly, or it slipped a little. I don't know what happened, but those skull protrusions come from the craniotomy and then the cranioplasty. And that's the story of my head and my stroke. And now I'm left paralyzed on my left side. I live in a nursing home, and I'm confined to a wheelchair. That's my whole story there. And I'm sticking to it. No, it's the truth. That ball skidded on Shane Van Boening, and he missed the 12 ball. They're playing 8 ball on TV. It's Shane Van Boening versus Sanchez Ruiz. I don't know his first name. I think his last name is Sanchez Ruiz. Combination of Sanchez and Ruiz. What's he shooting? No, he's shooting salads, of course. Shane just missed the stripe. So of course he's shooting salads. Okay, I'm done watching the pool. I'll get back to the video. That's what happened with my head. That's what happened. That's why I'm in a wheelchair. That's why I'm living in a nursing home. But I'm making my first video of the day because I got my first cup of coffee for the day. That's how I usually do it. I get my first cup of coffee of the day and I pop in and make my first video of the day. I hope that you can understand me throughout this video. Sometimes I don't have the clearest speech in the world. My articulation's not exactly perfect. It used to be very good though, because I'm a former, I don't know if I've talked about this recently, I am a former professional stage actor. So my speech used to be next to flawless. Well, not flawless, not my speech, but my articulation used to be very good, because as an actor it needs to be. And so I would work on it constantly. Along with working on my ability to project, I would work on my ability to articulate, which is also very important as an actor. Projection, as a stage actor, projection and articulation, both are very important. As an actor in general, articulation is important, whether you're a stage actor or act on screen, big screen or television. I was a stage actor, so I worked constantly on my projection and on my articulation. I also worked on my auditioning skills as well. I worked on cold reads, which is the hardest way in my mind to audition. That's where they give you the script that you've never read before, and you have to interpret how a character might deliver this particular line without knowing anything about the character really. Just knowing the line, and the line before it, and the line after it, of course. That might determine how you would deliver the line. So to prepare for cold readings, I would just read things. I'd grab the newspaper and just read the newspaper. I would just read things that I haven't read before. I would also check out and go to the library, check out various plays, and just read some lines coldly from the play. And then I would read the play and remember how I read the line initially and determine whether or not I put the right emphasis on the right syllable, or if I deliver the line as it should be with the right inflection and the right delivery, or at least close. You're not gonna get it perfect ever. You're not gonna get it perfect on the first read either, for sure. But even after a trillion rehearsals, you're not going to deliver any line perfectly. All you do is get it as good as you can get it. I was going to say more about acting, but I don't know if anyone cares about that. I guess I'll wrap up the video after how long? It's been 1 week since you looked at me, cocked your head to the side, and said you're angry. I always say that when I start to say it's been 10:38, 10 minutes and now 40 seconds since I started this video, so it is about time to hang it up. I'm going to hang it up now. I talked about my skull, about my stroke. I talked about my former acting career on stage. When I tell people I'm a former professional actor, they always ask, what have you been in? I tell them dozens of things. What have I seen you in? Well, have you ever been to the such and such theater in South St. Louis? No. Well, then you probably haven't seen me in anything. That was our main stage with the acting company I was with. Perino Productions is the acting company I was with here in St. Louis. Professional acting company. All right, well, after now, 11:33, 34, 35, I'm going to hang it up. Two Fingers A-Dub Club. See you when I see you. Oh, that's another thing for my new subscribers. I refer to you as the A-Dub Club. A-Dub because my initials are A-W. So you can figure out why I call it the A-Dub. And then club rhymes with A-Dub. And so I call you my A-Dub Club. My viewers and my subscribers are the A-Dub Club. So, Two Fingers A-Dub Club. See you when I see you. Pizza rolls. That's something else I say all the time. Is pizza rolls instead of peace. Because the P and the piece that begins pizza rolls also, I say, you can figure it out, I'm sure. Anyway, so Two Fingers A-Dub Club. See you when I see you. Pizza rolls. Peace.